Yo, welcome back to another wonderful episode, everybody. It's the MLB Rundown with Nate the Great on the Virtual Mancave podcast show. It's one and only model citizen Jay. I got my good brother Nate, and I already told you what the show is. It's that good weekly rundown with my good brother Nate. Nate, what's good, family?
What's going on? How's everything?
Man, ain't much. Another week, struggling, surviving, head above water. What about you, my good man?
Same here, chilling and maintaining as always.
I'm a little disappointed, breaks my heart, that my Mets didn't, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and the other New York team won. I hate this. I hate the fact that I got to start the show this way. Um, but yeah, it kind of broke my heart. I mean, we did get one. We did get one. So salute to you and your Yankees. I know you're a Yankee fan. I honestly, I don't give too many props. You don't hear me say this because I pride myself in being a troll and just talking smack to talk smack because I'm a New Yorker. But yeah, job well done to the Yankees. You guys got the first one. When we meet again, it'll be a little bit different. You know, I'm gonna stand on y'all cheated. I don't know how yet, but I'm just gonna say y'all cheated. Okay. But other than that, what's good, Nate?
Nothing much. What's going on, everyone out there who's tuning in to a rundown, MLB rundown with me, myself, Nate, for today's show. Thank Jay for being here to provide any audio, video, and handling the camera work. Real quick mistakes to clear up. I know last week when I was talking about the Rafael Devers situation, I might have misspoke, or if you heard it wrong, I didn't miss. I was thinking I might have made a mistake. Teoscar Hernandez or Tommy Edman, neither one of them are on the Boston Red Sox. These are just players that were considered as possible options that did not go. Teoscar Hernandez is still on the Los Angeles Dodgers, and so is Tommy Edman back on the team that he's on. So I just wanted to clear up that mistake. I realized I had made that mistake last week, so I apologize for any confusion on that. And I was gonna actually lay it off, but since you want to talk about the Mets and the Yankees, let's start with rivalry week last week. Of course, rivalry week was something MLB had for this year. So technically, it's not really. It's kind of rivalry week, but not for every game because in some instances you have some teams that are playing against each other that actually aren't really rivals. Rivals. It's more based on geographic location. Why they made it a rivalry. So if they play in the same city or same state, but it's never really a real rivalry because they
Now,
don't. It's not a real battle between the two. Whether it's amount of
Nate,
championships won, amount of Hall
wow.
of Famers, a success, much like the Yankees and the Mets. Um, so we're gonna start off with the Mets and the Yankees since Jay wanted to start with off that. Started with the Subway Series
Nate over here throwing jabs. Okay.
the Yankees played the Mets in a 3-game series, which the Yankees did win the series 2 games to 1. It was Juan Soto's return. Juan Soto, of course, was prepared for the reaction that he got from Yankee fans. It was a mix of a lot of boos, which is typical just New York fan base. I think some of it was the fact that he went to the Mets instead of staying with the Yankees. He could have went anywhere else except for New York to the Mets, the Red Sox, maybe Philly, and anybody else in the East, and he would have been okay.
I
But
mean,
going,
he chose the right team to go to. He made a smart decision. He came to Queens. Queens is a beautiful borough. You know what I mean?
I'll
Queens
give you
fans are
that.
just Mets fans are, we're a little bit more nice and more respectful. You know, we're
I'll
nice
give you that.
people.
I'll give you that. That Queens is a beautiful borough. I will say that in all my times in my years growing up in the city, whenever I went to Queens, loved everything about Queens. Can't say too much bad about Queens, but the team from Flushing, I will say they, in all seriousness, they did actually. It was a very highly contested battle between the Yankees and Mets, as always. Each game was really close. There was, I mean, except for the last game, there wasn't really. Each game was close all the way up until you got to the end. Juan Soto, who was the big story about a return, didn't have the greatest outings. Batted 1 for 10. He had 4 walks, 2 runs, and 2 Ks. The walks is something that Soto is just getting used to now because when he was on the Yankees, and there's no shade to on the Mets because Pete Alonso Francisco Lindor, Brandon Nimmo, and all those guys are all great players. But when you had Aaron Judge batting, everybody they were more likely to pitch to Soto than to Judge at the time because Judge was on that hot streak and the way Judge was hitting home runs. So it's still something. But Juan
It
Soto,
was one of those you gotta pick your poison.
yeah, and with all the things about Soto, you see some things in the news about him not hustling hard enough, but he's gonna come around. Soto's a great player, and he's gonna. I mean, he started off a little slow so far this year, but I think by the time we get close to the All Star break, he'll be hitting like the Soto we know, and then going after the All Star break into the rest of the season, he'll find his stride. The standout star was Cody Bellinger, who batted 7 for 11 during the series. He had 2 home runs. He had 7 RBIs with 3 walks and 7 hits, which included a grand slam home run in the rubber game when he had that home run with 6 RBIs and 2 walks, batting 3 for 3. So the next meeting between them will be another 3-game series. This time in Queens at Citi Field, aka always still known as Shea Stadium to me. Starting July 4th weekend. So that's
Mm.
gonna, of course, it's gonna be sold out. The fans are gonna be rabid on both sides. It's gonna be more blue and orange this time, but it's still gonna be a
So
great atmosphere. It's friendly New York banter back and forth always.
Nate, I gotta my son right now is locked in. He's watching the show right now, and he sent me a text right now. He gave you some a compliment. Would you like to hear what he said?
Sure.
He said, "Finally, a rational Yankee fan," and he gave up the praying hands like, "Oh my gosh, yo." So this
I
is why.
appreciate it.
And my son is a true blue, just like me, of course, Met fan. You know, he rides and dies with the Mets. This is what we do. We bleed blue and orange. You know. Unfortunately,
Sure
he's also a Nick fan. I can't help him with that part. But hey, you know, everybody got their vices. And being a
of
Nick fan.
course. So while that was one of the big stories, giving a recap of the other rivalry game takeaways, we had the Keystone State rivalry, which was between the Battle of Pennsylvania between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Philadelphia Phillies swept that series 3 games to nothing. Bryce Harper reached 1,000 RBIs during that time back on May 16th game. Um, Mick Auble made his debut with the Philadelphia Phillies and battling Paul Skeens, who was one of the future stars of this league. With in Pittsburgh Pirates, their ace. Abel went 6 innings with 5 hits, 9 strikeouts, over 100 over 84 pitches. He got called up from the minors. He's an Oregon native. Did commit to Oregon State University. Was drafted in 2020 by the Philadelphia Phillies at number 15. Um, in his minor league career, he went 22 and 34 with a 4.53 ERA and had 496 strikeouts. And to have that great of a game in only 6 innings against Paul Skeens, who went 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, and 9 strikeouts over 102 pitches. That was a good showing for him, and hopefully, we wish him well in the rest of his career in the MLB. Again, their next matchup will be at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, June 6th for a 3-game series. Moving on to the Lone Star Series, the Houston Astros against the Texas Rangers. That was split 2 games to 2. And while it is a rivalry too, as well, because it's an in-state rivalry and it's also a division rivalry. Unlike unlike some of the interleague games that are rivalries between in-state, they'll play each other 9 more times. So this is just the beginning. They got 9 more matchups after this. The next matchup that you'll see them is July 11th, in Houston for a 3-game series. First matchup was Jacob DeGrom versus Hunter Brown, which is a great matchup. DeGrom went 8 innings with 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, and a walk. Hunter Brown went 8 innings with 3 hits, an earned run, and 9 strikeouts. Only giving up a home run to Jake Berger in the 6th inning. Texas win streak ended on May 16th with that loss, with a 3-6 loss to Houston. Jack Leiter lost a no-hitter in the 7th inning on the 5-18 game. He gave up a home run to Yarnier Diaz, a solo home run with 2 outs in the 7th. And
Yeah, I know
Jack
that
Leiter
gotta
also,
hurt. I know them
and Jack,
late game home runs be hurting, yo.
yeah, especially when you get, because once you get to a no-hitter, not only does the pitcher kind of is aware of it, but the rest of the team is now. Now the rest of the team is trying everything they can to make sure that no hitter stays
Yep.
intact. Um, Leiter unfortunately did leave the game after that inning with right shoulder discomfort. So we're hoping that it's hoping that there's nothing serious that comes back from that after he has X-rays, MRIs done. Moving on to the Crosstown Classic between the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. Excuse me. The Chicago Cubs swept their series 3-0. They outscored the Cubs. They outscored the White Sox the entire series 26-8. Pete Crow Armstrong, who's been one of the bright young stars of this league this season so far, continued his hot streak, and in this series he went 8 for 14 with 8 RBIs and a home run. Their next series will be July 25th at Rate Field Park on the south side of Chicago, in which is the White Sox home field. Next
Man,
series,
what's going on with the White Sox, man? They not looking too
White Sox.
good out here, man. They struggling, bro.
Well, you remember the White Sox last year had 21 losses in a row, plus they tied a record for most losses with 121 in the modern day era. White Sox have been kind of on the downside ever since maybe a few years ago. Then when Tony La Russa was relieved of his duties, the team just happened to go down. Tim Anderson, who used to be one of the faces of that team, he's now gone from the team. And I don't know, it's just been a steady decline, and I think it's gonna be some time before Chicago rise back in it, because they play in a tough division with Cleveland, Kansas City, and Detroit, who is the best team currently right now in the Central Division. Even though right now they're down 6-0 in the top of the ninth inning to the Cleveland Guardians. Speaking of Cleveland, they didn't have as much luck over the rivalry weekend in the Ohio Cup Series against the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds swept the Cleveland Guardians 3-0, which is their first sweep of the Guardians since 2012, back when the Guardians were still known as the Cleveland Indians. Will Benson, who has been lights out. He batted 6 for 12 with 4 home runs and 7 RBIs during that series. In the third game when they swept, he went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. Next series for that will be in Cleveland June 9th for a 3-game series. Next, we have the Battle of the Beltway series, which I'm a little familiar with, being that I lived in the DMV area for 15 years. The Baltimore Orioles against the Washington Nationals, in which the Washington Nationals swept the Baltimore Orioles 3-0 in Baltimore. After the first losses, which happened with Brandon Hyde being fired from the Orioles, I'll talk more about that when we have our news round recap. James Wood was the standout player to me for that series with 5 of 11, 4 RBIs, and 5 runs scored. That series is over with, as they played earlier. The Nationals won the series overall 5-1. They outscored the Orioles throughout this entire series 36-18. This series, being that I used to live out there, I know it goes all the way back to the early 2000s. You know, with the Nationals when they were moving from Montreal to the DC area. It just saying the Orioles weren't really too fans of them coming to that area, because the Orioles kind of had that entire area as their fan base at that time, but it didn't stop them. The Nationals got there. Eventually, the Nationals became popular, and at one time, the Nationals did win the World Series with a Juan Soto team when they beat the Atlanta Braves. I mean, not the Atlanta Braves. The Houston Astros. So, the Orioles got a lot of work to do, and I'm going to talk more about them, of course, when we speak on the news about their managerial change. Next was the Citrus series between the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
You got a comment right here. The Rockies even worse somehow. Shake my head.
Oh, we're going to get to the Rockies after our recap, because the Rockies, only have 8 wins right now this year, 8-41. But it's still an early season. Remember, the Detroit Tigers were nowhere near in playoff contention when August came around last year, and ended up making a run in the playoffs. Something I didn't mention on last week's show. The Tampa Bay Rays played the Miami Marlins in the Citrus series this year. I mean, this over the weekend, with a 2-1 win series win by the Miami Marlins. Kyle Stowers went 4 for 11. Their next matchup will be 6-6 in Tampa for a 3-game series. Next is the I-70 series, which is also known as the Show Me series between the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals, both teams of the state of Missouri. St. Louis won this series 2-1. Ivan Herrera went 6 for 10 with 4 RBIs. He batted 420 during this entire series. Their next series will be June 3rd in St. Louis for a 3-game series. Then we got the Battle of the Bay, one of my favorite series. The San Francisco Giants against the Athletics. San Francisco did win the series 3-0. Heliot Ramos with 4 for 11, a home run, and 2 RBIs during the series. They'll be playing in Sacramento, which is the current temporary home of the Athletics right now, as they wait for their stadium to be built in Las Vegas.
Nah, it's okay. You can still call them the Oakland Athletics. That's what they still gonna be called. Listen, we still call it Shea Stadium sometimes, and we still gonna
Yeah.
call them Oakland Athletics, yo.
And staying with California, we got the Freeway Series where the Los Angeles Angels swept the defending world champion Los Angeles Dodgers 3-0. Their first sweep of the Dodgers since 2010, so 15 years. Zach Nato went 5 for 12 with a home run and 4 RBIs and 3 doubles. Their next series will be over in the Anaheim field August 11th for a 3-game series. So that wraps up the rivalry week series.
So,
Something I think MLB was trying to do more with geographic locations, because usually we just have the interleague series, but as far as real rivalries, Orioles and Nationals have other rivalries, but these, like, just to give them as an example, but they use these as in-state rivals. You know what I'm saying?
let me ask you: do you think they started this because the hype that the around the Mets and the Yankees that it always conjures up? Because it's always a subway series. That's what we call it, because it's only a subway ride away from each team, from each stadium and whatnot. Do you think that MLB was just trying to surf the wave and having rivalry week since they scheduled it this way on purpose, since they knew the Mets and the Yankees was going to play each other this week?
No, I don't think so, because when interleague first started, that was the point of having the National League versus the American League, and you got some teams that play in different cities, and different states in the same, different cities in the same state, and they've been doing that since the beginning of the interleague. So Cleveland versus Cincinnati was always a thing. Houston, and at that time, Houston was in the National League, so Houston versus Texas was always a thing, and the California teams battling each other. So it was always a thing. It just so happens that when they had the rivalry week, now you decided to just put a lot of the teams that play in the same city and state against each other. See, like Detroit doesn't have an in-state rival. Milwaukee doesn't have an in-state rival. So those teams, like they had the Braves versus the Red Sox, because those teams don't have in-state rivals. Because we all know the Red Sox rival is who? The Yankees. Just like the Mets. Their main rival is always the Phillies. And then you can say the Braves is right behind them,
Yeah, everybody hate the Mets. They just be trying to come for us, The Yankees, that's why you only got one team. The Mets, they got two trying to, and we be destroying them.
I honestly think more people hate Philly than they hate the Mets.
I know they hate Philly because Philly, they just not a good team. They hate us because we great. There's a difference. We hate it on because we great. What's our nickname? Amazing. We're the amazing Mets because we just amazing. What more can I say?
That's whatever helps you sleep at night, Jay. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Wow, it'd be your own people, them darn stinky fans.
I told you, I like the Mets, but don't get just pump the brakes a little bit. Pump the brakes.
Never, man, never. The Yankees, they the second best baseball team in New York.
You couldn't even stare in the camera and say that with a straight face. Look at him now. Look at you right there. You can't even say it with a straight face.
The Yankees are the second best team in New York when it comes to baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, if the power goes out on Jay's side of the feed and the lightning, you just know why. Okay.
Whatever, Nate. Whatever.
Recapping currently going on. Again, the Guardians are finishing up on the Tigers. They're up 7-0. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh are playing. It's a rain delay, bottom of the 6th inning. Of course, there's a lot of bad weather going on across the country in certain places. The Nationals have come back to take the lead on the Braves. They're up 7-6 right now in the bottom of the 8th inning. You have the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros tied at 2 right now. Finished games that were completed earlier today. The Yankees finished the sweep of the Texas Rangers with a 1-0 victory. Carlos Rondon got the win. Luke Weaver with the save. The one home run by Joe Bevis was his first career home run. That was the home run that stood for the rest of the game. The Toronto Blue Jays finished off the San Diego Padres, who did try to make a comeback after, Padres, of course, got beat really bad yesterday by Toronto 14-0. Philadelphia Phillies beat the Colorado Rockies 2-0, as was said in the chat. Rockies are now 8-42. They're 5-20 at home.
8-42. So, Nate, who do we blame in this situation? Do we blame the general manager? Is it the coach? Is it the players? Is it like what is it? What's going on? Like, where would you
Well,
start with? I would like to say.
well, the first blame is always going to go to the coach first. First, it goes from the coach, and then you look at the management who they have. They have some players though that are out. Chris Bryant, who was one of the top stars players, he's out for the season. You got Ryan McMahon, who's getting paid a lot of money. You got Herman Marquez. It's just not coming together, And
So let
you
me ask you.
Colorado's
Okay,
not necessarily a destination where a lot of players go. Nolan Arenado, who they had before, they spent a lot of money on
so
him. He got traded.
they
He's
the
down to
Washington
St. Louis.
they the Washington Wizards baseball.
I guess you could say that now if you want to put it in the basketball term, but the Wizards put up a little bit better fight, as the season was going
So
on. The Wizards didn't just tank all the
right.
way, so I don't want to throw
So
that shade on the Wizards like that because that wouldn't be true.
now you know me. I'm just a troll. I just be making fun, man. For all the Wizards fans out there, my bad. Just understand. I'm just being funny, man. Don't take it personal. It's just comedy. Um, But let me ask, are the plays even being competitive? Are they trying like because these are professional players? Like you gotta at some point, like you gotta understand, like these guys are nice. They're probably some of the nicest people in the world to play this game on a professional level. Not too many people have this opportunity. So you would think that being a professional baseball player, you would at least have the skill, you have the skill level to compete. Are they even out there competing against the other teams or they just gave up themselves like, yo, we don't even care?
No, in most cases, you're always going to compete. It's just sometimes it doesn't fall your way. You can play your best baseball, and
They
it's
only
just
won 8 games, Nate. Like,
yeah.
like,
But again, though, too, Jace, is we only 50 games into the season. It's 162 games left.
yo, eight. Well, I'm saying you just said it. It's 50. We just played 50 games already, and we only won 8.
But
Like,
see, and
that's crazy.
I get it now. In my opinion, Colorado will be one of those teams that will be at the bottom of the division right now. The way I see the way they're playing, because I'll catch a game every now and then. Because I try to at least watch every team throughout the
Listen,
so that's why I end up staying up late. That's why I'm up late at nights. But
you know me. I'm not a baseball. I'm a casual fan and stuff like that. But that's not good, man. Like, I'm pretty sure there's people out there probably talking mad smack about them. Like, yo, there's a college team that could probably beat them right now, yo. You know what I'm saying? There's a minor league team that could probably beat them right now and whatnot. Trying to be just mad, mad foul, disrespectful to the squad. Like,
well,
I
see,
don't
they
know.
have minor league
Colorado,
teams.
step up.
Well, see what happens in these situations when teams are really this bad too. Some you can kind of see some upside to it a little bit is while the team might be playing bad, this does open up opportunities for those players in the minor leagues to get called up during the season. Because once a team might feel like, hey, we're out of contention, let's see what some of our farm system got. We'll call them up, let them play for the rest of the year or some parts of the month. Call players up, send some players back down. You kind of see what you got, so you can kind of gauge what you need to do for the following season coming up. But it's never just okay. Because see, we look at that record and we think you might be thinking about it like on a basketball term. If a team is 8-42, we know they're done. Football, they don't even play this many games, but they're done. Football, this would be equivalent to 1-14. They're done. But in a sport like baseball, you could be 8-42 and you still technically are not out of the playoff race yet. You're nowhere near out of the playoff race yet.
I mean, I
Now
know
they
because
might
baseball.
be out in one more month. They might be out in another month or two. They could be out. But right now they're still technically in it.
That's crazy though. Like, I mean, I hope the Rockies tighten up, do better. But
Listen,
that's wild.
and
That's wild.
anybody that's played baseball on any level knows how this can be. Whether you play professional, semi-pro, minor league, even if you're currently playing on a softball team somewhere, sometimes you can give your all, and it's never enough, and you'll lose and you'll lose. And before you know, you look at your record. Your record could be 3-15. Y'all played 18 games all season, and then half of those games you only lost the game by 2 runs, less than 3 runs, which means you wasn't giving up. You just couldn't finish the game out. You just couldn't. You just couldn't close out for a win. You know.
Yeah, then you hear the voice of Adrian from Rocky. You just can't win, Rocky. You just can't win.
Yeah, and you just say no, I can do it. So the Rockies, they got some rebuilding to do. So we'll see what happens going forward the season for them. This year might be already shot for them, but we'll see. And then last, the Angels and the Athletics. The Angels swept the series against the Athletics, 10-5 W today. Hunter Strickland got the W with his first win of the season, 1-0 in his start for this year. They're 24-25. They're 500 on the road now after today's win. Taylor Ward did hit a grand slam for the Angels, so we're looking forward to that. So we'll
Yeah.
get more into that going forward about the games coming up for this weekend and next week.
Let me ask you, Nate, because I'm listening to the scores as you was running them down. Yo, it seems like a lot of teams got some bats and they hitting some runs, yo. It's like they getting some numbers on the scoreboard.
Well, I'll speak for the Los Angeles Angels because not speaking for them, but after watching their games, a lot of people would think that when Mike Trout, who's also who's been a star player for all these years, went down, people were thinking that maybe the Angels will be back to mediocrity. But to be honest, over the last 2 to 3 years, watching the Angels, they've been better without Trout, and that's not saying that Trout still can't contribute to the team. Because right now Trout, with so many injuries and he's so injury prone, they're not going to be able to really move him for a lot of value because everybody knows that he's injury prone. He's still a great hitter, but I think what you want to do, because they were talking about moving him to right field, is from center field. But I think the best move for Trout, I think you move him to that DH role, or maybe even see if he can play first base a little bit. Because right now with the team, Ron Washington has done a great job. He never doesn't really get the credit that he deserves for how he's coached. He coached a Texas Rangers team to the World Series. They just fell short against the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, the San Francisco Giants, I should say. But Ron Washington doesn't get a lot of credit for what he's done with this team. Where you got Joe Adell on the team, Tim Anderson, who I mentioned before, he's on the team. Zach Neto, Taylor Ward, Jorge Solar batting at DH, Lauren Ohapi at catcher. They have a really good team. Kyron Paris out there in center field, another great young star coming along. He didn't have a great hitting day today, but they got a good nucleus team, and if they just keep at it, don't make any irrational moves, the Angels could become competitive in the West. The West is a really tough division with the Astros and the Seattle Mariners there as well. The Athletics started off really hot. They've slowed down a little bit, but they still got a great young team, who I've mentioned before, with Brent Rooker, Tyler Soderstrom, and Gio Urshela, who's a former Yankee. You got Miguel Andujar. You also, excuse me. You also got Lawrence Butler, who didn't play today. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Angels can do, because a few years ago when they were thinking about keeping Ohtani, they made some irrational decisions that I didn't understand. When they had got Noah Syndergaard, they had got Hunter Renfroe. They spent all this money on these players, and then somewhere in August they just dropped everybody right before playoff time. People were upset with the team because they felt like they just, like, what was the point of all of this? And then they were trying to re-sign Ohtani, but Ohtani decided to go to the Dodgers. So they didn't look like they had any direction where they're going. But now, they got rid of Joe Madden, and now it looks like they have some kind of direction, at least that's better than what it was the last few years.
Okay. So like they try and do some things and stuff like that. But let me ask you, what team right now would be your sleeper team? That people are sleeping on, that you think is going to do exceptionally well this season. What team do you think is going to go to the World Series? And what two teams do you think will go to the World Series? And who do you think will win the World Series right now? Before you go, I'm going to be biased. I think the Mets are going to win the World Series. That's just me. I'm always going to say the Mets, everybody. I would never say any other team. So let Nate the Great give his professional opinion, because I'm 100% biased. Let's go Mets.
For this, we're going to talk about this because you remember we got some new people watching the show today that wasn't here last week when we talked about it. One of the teams I still feel is a team that has the potential to make the World Series, that they're talked about, but they're still kind of not given the same respect as the rest of the teams. And I think that's the San Diego Padres. I still think that's a team that has the ability to win that World Series and topple the giant that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. To me, in the playoffs over the last few years, they're the only team that's giving the Dodgers a run for their money. The Arizona Diamondbacks played really well too. They played really well against Dodgers recently, even though they lost the series 2-3. But I think the San Diego Padres is one of those teams. My choice right now, as far as World Series, until you can prove otherwise, is the Dodgers are still coming out of the National League right now. I think they should be happy with not say happy, but the injuries that's going on with the Dodgers now. You'd rather have your injuries happen now than happen later in the season when you're going to need these players to be at their full strength and capacity going into the playoff run. Um, the Detroit Tigers would have been that sleeper team, but the way they came out the gate so far this season, I don't think anybody's taking Detroit lightly.
Mm.
Sleeper team could be this sleeper team. I think is going to be, as far as I don't think they're going to get to the World Series, but then they're going to be a sleeper team this year. Could be the Seattle Mariners. I would have gave that to the Boston Red Sox, but the Red Sox to me were improving last year near the end of the season. They didn't have the greatest season last year, but they were improving anyway. So I saw the improvement of the Red Sox coming. So I think the Red Sox are right where they're supposed to be at right now. The surprise to me is the Orioles and where they went down. And I'm going to talk about that, when we start talking about the news topics of the week. For the American League to come out the American League, uh, I don't want to sound biased, but I didn't think the way the Yankees are batting right now, we could have a rematch of the World Series next year, possibly. It's a very strong possibility that we could. The Yankees still, regardless of what anybody wants to say, to me, the Yankees pitching still needs to be a little bit improved on that in that bullpen. I still think they can pick up a starter with Garrett Cole being out for the season. It wouldn't hurt to try to test the market out there during the trade deadline for another starting pitcher. I know they like what they got. You can use Clark Schmidt as a starter at times. You still got Luis Gill you still got Luis Gill, Marcus Stroman, Carlos Rondon and Max Fried leading the charge right now. But I still think you could use one. You could maybe get one more pitch at the trade deadline, to make that difference.
And if what pitcher you think will be good will be valid for them though? Who do you think would be a
I've
good fit?
I've always been a strong. I've been a big fan of Luis Castillo. I think he would be a great pick. Sandy Alcantara from the Miami Marlins would be a good pickup for the Yankees. It all just depends on what they're going to have to ask to be give up for those players. You
Mm.
know, like I said, and just to show your team a little love, don't the Mets. They can win that division. They started off really well. Philly has really found their stride right now. A 7 game win streak. Kyle Schwarber has been just obliterating baseballs over the last couple of days. He's hit his 300 home runs. Um, again, Bryce Harper got to 1,000 RBIs. Trey Turner's playing well. But yeah, the NL East is still up for grabs. I still feel it's still up for grabs. I don't know if the Atlanta Braves are going to get back into the hunt of it. Like to see Ronald
Do me a
Acuna and
favor.
those boys.
Next time you try to give my team a compliment, don't be like like it's some backhand compliment because I didn't feel that energy right there, Nate. Like you really wasn't cool like that, yo.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, on this show, we spread nothing but positivity. All hate that comes from second tier teams. Well,
Second tier. Wow, here we go. Here we go. Um, Shout out to one of our viewers. They just want to let us know that FYI, Wolves is down by one. You know, Thank you, appreciate that.
appreciate that little stat for there.
You know,
Um, move, moving forward, we're gonna go and we're gonna talk about a couple of things that happened in the news over the last couple of days in baseball. First, we're gonna start with the suspension of Philadelphia pitcher Jose Alvarado, who's been suspended for 80 games. He won't appeal it, and it's due to performance enhancement. It went into effect immediately. Even though it went into effect immediately in his 80 games, he still will not be eligible for the postseason. The suspension ends mid-August, but what baseball rule is if a player is suspended for PEDs during the season, they automatically become ineligible for postseason that same season. So even though in August his suspension will be up, he will not be eligible to play in the postseason.
that's crazy. So he's done for the whole season then.
Pretty much he can be there for the team, you know. and they're saying when he took something that possibly was caused a positive result. So unfortunately, he's going to be out for the season. He was their closer. He had a 4-1 record through 20 innings pitched. He had a 2.7
Oh,
ERA, with 25 strikeouts and 4 walks.
now
And he
let
is
me ask you this, Nate, because you know a lot of these players, they got trainers and nutritionists and everybody else, right? Because you know their job is to focus on baseball and getting better and things like that. So they hire all these people, or the team may have these people in a particular position to help these players out, right? How much is it the player's responsibility to know exactly what they're taking versus, oh no, just take this, you know, it's going to help you, you know, get better, enhance yourself, and blah 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 stuff like that.
well. I mean, the players play a big part in it as well, just as much the team itself, but the players also play a big part because they know that they're randomly tested. They know when tests are coming. So, you have to realize, I know sometimes players are recovering, maybe recovering from an injury or recovering from anything, and they may want to take a little something just to help them recover, speed up recovery. But you want to make sure that you're taking it within the guidelines. It's not something that will test as a performance enhancement. So unfortunately, you know, and that's maybe why Alvarado didn't decide to appeal and decided the quicker instead of appealing, which would make the suspension last longer, you go ahead and just take the suspension and deal with it now to get it out the way. So,
Mm.
and then the thing about it was the Philadelphia bullpen was fourth worst in the National League with a 4.66 ERA, with 8 blown saves at the time. He was like I said, he was their most reliable pitcher. They had to go and activate relief pitcher Jose Ruiz, who was on the 12-day IL. The bad thing about this with Jose Alvarado is he's in the final year of his 3-year, $22 million contract. At the age of 30 years old, the club has a $9 million option. Now you have to wonder, are they going to pick up that option with this recent? Because this impacts their bullpen and their team going as far as the postseason. So do they pick up that $9 million option and bring him back for him, or this possibly could be his last season here in Philly now? And unfortunately, this you would hate to go out this way.
Yeah, that's cold, man. Yeah, that's real cold.
I get how it's saying like team they could be a little bit money, but you know what? Players have to be accountable for the decisions they make as well. Not being harsh on them either.
Oh
You
no,
know,
no, no. I'm not taking accountability away from the player at all whatsoever. I'm just asking how much accountability should be placed on the team as well. Should the team get a fine for having a player who is, you know, who tested positive or something like that? You know, because then now maybe if it's a situation like that, then teams might be more conscious of how they move and how they operate or something like that.
but I think that'll come from the league because the league is the one that issuing out these tests.
Right. And that's
So
what I
if
mean.
the
Like the league, like that's what I'm saying. If the league comes, you know, says, hey, if one of your players test positive, you know, he's gonna get suspended and stuff like that, gotta pay fines and whatnot. But you as a team, as an organization, is also gonna pay as well because obviously you guys benefited from his from his performance. So
well,
therefore,
usually
yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, so therefore we're gonna hold you accountable, you know, just as much. Well, a little bit, not just as much, but partially.
Well, usually once they're tested, I think usually the tests come immediately and it's reported immediately. So it's not like the player gets tested and it comes up positive 5 days ago, and then you let them play 5 or 6 games. Then you finally, oh yeah, by the way, they tested positive five
Oh,
days ago.
what I'm saying is, let's say they've been using it, haven't been tested yet. You know, let's say they played 5 or 6 games before they got tested. You know, and then they get tested, and he's like, hold up, homie, yeah, he got some performance enhancing drugs in him, kid. He been using some steroids, kid. You know, so those games previously, you know, prior to the test, you know, the team the team benefited from it. So
Yeah, I
they
guess you could say that. So that's something that the league is going to have to, because after the first suspension, second suspension is 162 games. If you get caught a third time, you're banned for life. So that's, I guess, for the league, it's more like it's going to be on the players to
yo,
be more
that's
to be more
I
cautious.
mean, I agree. I'm just again, y'all. I just play the opposite side of the coin sometimes, just to engage in a good dialogue, good conversation, And but get caught 3 times and you done for life, yo.
Yeah, because see, these players have all the resources to know. Or besides, with the team being aware, the players have these resources to make sure that they don't take anything that could possibly be considered a PED for them to be able to fail these drug tests in the first place. So it's not like these players aren't aware; they don't know about it. They're all made aware of it. I'm pretty sure they all have. When you join a team or when you join the league in general, you have those sit down, those whether it's orientation classes or the class they make you go to take to know this is what you take. You have the strength and conditioning coaches and things to let you know things that you should be able to take, what you can't take, to make sure that you do not put anything in your body that will cause you to come back with a positive PED result test.
See, on God, only thing I do is eat fruit and water and work out. I wouldn't even drink soda. When I drink Mountain Dew, they talk about, bro, that made you stronger. You started hitting home runs after you drinking Mountain Dew, kid. You done. Nah,
Like,
can't do
that's your Popeye power.
it.
um, in other news, another big news: Brandon Hyde was relieved as Orioles manager. Previously, right before that game against the Washington Nationals of 5-17, he was replaced by third base coach Tony Massinolo. They also relieved their fielding and catcher coach as well. Brandon Hyde, a career record with the Orioles is 421 wins with 493 losses, with a winning percentage of .461. In his 7th year as coach, he did coach the Orioles to 101-61 record, which was tops for the AL East, and they were the AL East champions. They did lose, and that was in 2023, where they lost to the eventual champions, the Texas Rangers, in the division series. Um, Orioles, unfortunately, we've talked about a little bit about this last week about not making a big splash during the off season, not picking up certain players. They kind of stayed stalemate. They lost Corbin Burns, who was one of their big starters. Anthony Santander went over to the signed with the Toronto Blue Jays. They let Max Fried and Garrett Crochet both go to division rivals, the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. So we're hoping that the Orioles will be. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it around or what they're going to think about this
Yeah.
season. Currently,
Do you
they're
think
at the bottom of the division, at 16-32.
do you think it was justified in firing the coach? Do you think it was his fault? Do you think that he was the most contributing factor to their lack of success right now?
Well, you have to look at that, and you do at some point. I mean, he had already been there for about 8 years or so. It's about his ninth season. It's about his ninth season, if I'm not mistaken. At some point, you have to realize that whatever coaching style you're doing or what you're doing is not working. And besides him, management has a big part to play in it. As I think management plays more of a part in it because they also didn't do anything in the off season to help improve that
See,
team, especially when you
I
got Corbin Burns to let him walk away. You still had a young squad. You still got Gunnar
see.
Henderson,
I was
Ryan
gonna ask
Mancave.
you that, right? I was gonna ask you not to cut you off. Pardon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're expecting the coach to do something new with the same players. Like he may have already exacerbated all he could with those players. You bring in some new players, now it's new energy. You know, they do different things, so you have new players doing something different, which may offer the coach now new options. Now I can move certain pieces around. I can do certain things and revitalize the energy of this team. You know,
Yeah, I got you. So we'll have to see. And then it didn't start off well with the new coach losing the first 2 or 3 games. The Orioles were on an
so
8-game losing streak until yesterday when they beat the Milwaukee Brewers when they come back win in Milwaukee 8-4. Orioles
so
were
look,
rained out today. Then they're playing the division rivals, the Red Sox, this weekend.
do
Um,
you see the comment Mike Ellis hashtag fraud watch? Yo, what's going on, man? Everybody, listen. Welcome, Triple OG, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't give the fellas a shout out early in the beginning of the show because me and Nate just honestly just got right into the show and whatnot. But yo, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow to the Virtual Man Cave podcast that we do with the whole crew, with myself. You got your good brother, my good brother Nate. You got Triple OG Unk. You know what I mean? We got my good brother Leo. We got, you know what I'm saying, Art. You know what I'm saying, Art Sobers. You know what I'm saying, Luke Cage of the crew, the professor. We got Troy. You know what I'm saying, and we got the mayor, man. So, but Unk, what's good, man? We over here just chopping it up. Nate giving us the rundown about baseball, yo. What's good with you? All right, Unc, I'll see you later. He just disappeared. Just wanted to say what's up, yo.
We appreciate Unc for the cameo. You know, shout out to
Appreciate
Unc
it.
D Rigger.
That's why you got it. That's why you got to show up tomorrow, yo, because you know you got to tune in tomorrow. 'Cause that's what Unc do. He just, that's what he do. But Nate, who's Mike Ellis, yo?
He's the general manager of the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, okay. Because then it says they got a new owner too, so they got money. I don't think their GM did nearly enough at the deadline last year or in the winter.
Yeah, he definitely didn't. He definitely didn't. Oh, he stayed complacent. And
Okay.
meanwhile, while everybody else got better, added more talent, he decided to stay with what he had. And then, he only had playing, his closer came back, Felix Bautista, whatever, but he let a lot, like I just mentioned, guys like Max Fried and Garrett Crochet, players like even Alex Bregman or whatever went to division rivals while you just stayed packed with the team that you had. Now you got players like Cedric Mullins, who I think personally is going to be on the chop block. I think they're going to move Mullins by the trade deadline. It's a really solid player, but I think he's been there. He's been with the Orioles for a while, so I think they're going to end up moving him. And by the trade deadline, I think you still got Jackson
So
Holiday, you got Ryan Mountcastle, you got Adley Rutschman. So we'll see what's the next moves with this Orioles team and with the general manager what
it,
Elias has in store.
it sounds like from what I'm hearing, and now more I'm getting more information because just based off what you were saying, and then now what I'm getting more like I said, more information, getting a little bit more clarity. It sounds like they hung the coach to dry, like they made him a scapegoat pretty much.
Well, you got to blame. I mean, well, in some cases you're going to put somebody, so you're going to look first at the coach. You're going to say, hey, we gave you this, but you're not going to point the finger at yourself. So you pointed at somebody else, right?
True
So that's what
indeed.
I think they're doing. They're doing there between that and then I don't know right now if the owner's going to say with this GM maybe we just need to start over with a new coach. Maybe we need to start over with and a new game plan because we have the play. You may say, hey, we have the players. Maybe it's just a new coach because again, Brandon Hyde had been with the team for some time, so they
True
thinking
indeed.
maybe the players are not responding to that coach. We see it happen in other sports all the time.
Facts. You right. Um, yo, what's going on? How you feeling, OG?
Technical difficulties for a second, bro. And maybe I had the bad internet tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
it,
you know,
it happens, bro. It happens. My phone was tweaking. It was literally tweaking.
okay.
So
Well,
let me turn the
since we
thing
on the
off, turn it back on.
MLB rundown with Nate the Great, yo, we gotta ask you, who's your baseball team? Who do you root
It
for
was the
during that?
It was the Yankees.
All right, Unc. I'll see you later. All right. Unc having technical difficulties again. I don't know what happened. He said he was a Yankees fan, yo. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Bro,
Well,
I
You
don't
have
watch
to
baseball. I
Unc, you
don't
have to
watch
remember.
baseball no more. I don't watch baseball no more.
Hey, Unc, you have to remember while you keep disconnecting. Remember who's the host of the
Donation.
show.
Yo,
Bruh. That's what the twink, twink, twink was. I got you now. Got you. My bad. Yo, I
it
won't
was
say
it
nothing
was
about
definitely.
him. I won't say nothing
Oh,
about him, Jay. I won't say
ladies and
nothing
gentlemen,
about him.
I was that. What happened was I was the technical difficulty. What happened at Unc once he said he liked the Yankees and stuff. He had you can't say that. I'll let Nate do it because that's the
I'm
host.
gonna have a chocolate donut on your ass, just so you know.
Hey yo, pause. See, we didn't have one pause worthy moment the whole show. We was good, Nate. You see, yeah, we gonna keep it. We gonna keep it
I'm
flowing.
here to keep it real. That's what I'm here to do,
No,
y'all.
no, you
Yeah,
here
I'll
to
go
cause
ahead and keep on.
disruption. You here to keep cause
I didn't.
disruption.
Hey, I'm only going to interrupt for the important parts. Go ahead. I was
You
listening to
said
what you were saying, Nate. Yo, Nate, keep on reporting on that MLB, bro. Because you got a lot of issues going around in the MLB right now, bro. You
exactly
know what I'm saying?
technical. technical on the play. How you gonna say, yo, this is why you gotta tune into the Friday show. Because there's a lot of pauses and stuff like that, yo. No chocolate donuts. You talking about I'm gonna have a chocolate donut on your behind, yo. Pause. And you don't say stuff like, oh, that whole combo don't go together. But Nate, please, is there any more interesting news and topics? Anybody else got fired? Did somebody else get injured? Is there any other players that we need to know about?
Well, as far as well, not injuries, but you have Chris Taylor, who was released by the Los Angeles Dodgers. He had spent 10 years with the team. They made room for Tommy Edman, who was returning and was activated on May 18th from an ankle injury. Um, Taylor was a utility player that mainly played short and center field for the um, for the Dodgers, but he also played other positions as well. He could play second base as well. He's still owed 12.75 million. That will finish out his 4 year, $60 million contract, which he signed back in 2022. Um,
How much? How much you said?
so $60 million for 4 years,
He said 60.
and
60.
next year he has a $4 million buyout option. The Pirates, there is an injury. The Pirates have had Jared Jones was re-examined due to a setback that he had recovering from a strained ligament on his right elbow. He was one of their rookies that they was hoping to be part of this young team rotation with a 6-8 record last year in 22 starts. Real quick, we had some retirements. Colton Wong, who played 11 years in the league. He recently retired. He played with St. Louis majority of his career. He also played with Milwaukee. He finished his career with stats of 900 with a total of that where was I at? I lost
So
my
Nate, I don't mean to
no.
interrupt you, but somebody asked us a question, and I don't know. This is noteworthy, yo, and I think you can answer this because I'm going to be biased and give my answer because I don't like neither of these players. But who's the bigger NY star, Judge or Brunson?
Aaron
Man,
Judge.
that's a ridiculous question.
Right now, Jalen Brunson is the more popular. He's probably the more popular because of what the Knicks are
He
doing.
didn't say no, 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 Nate. You twisted the question. Who is the bigger star?
Aaron
Let me
Judge.
tell you something. Aaron Judge is 6 foot a lot. That dude is like 6 foot 12, bruh.
Well, we're not
Well,
talking about
his height ain't got nothing to do with how
we ain't
big of a
talking about
star he
height.
is.
Isn't
He's
that what we talking about? Are we being judgmental here, bruh? I mean, we talking
no
superstar though.
no pun intended. Judgmental.
Judgmental.
Boom.
I'm just saying.
No, Aaron
Uh,
Judge is the most
That's a
popular.
big dude, bruh. That's a
He's the
big
most
dude.
popular. He's the most popular player in New York right now. Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge.
Brunson is right behind him though.
Yeah, honestly. You know what? And he would be in front of him if they wouldn't have lost. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bring him back in game 2, Brunson, and you'll be the big dude in New York again. Believe me. Bring him back in game 2, and then go up there and go get game 3 and 4. That's all.
And
Hey,
we'll
that's all you gotta do, bruh. That's
and we'll
all you gotta do.
and we'll and we'll keep the rest of that basketball talk for tomorrow's show.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
yeah, this is the MLB rundown with Nate the Great.
Hey, yo, man, but I'm a guest. I could do what I want. That's what guests do when they
All
come
right,
on,
and then
don't they?
all right, so I just want to let you know there's a signal, and if Nate do it, I got to kick you off the show because we don't
Come
talk
on,
about
but
we don't have
no,
no
no, no, no,
we ain't
no,
gonna have
no.
no
Hey, hey,
disruptive
hey, hey,
guest.
hey. Hold off
If
with
they
the
give me the
finger, Nate.
signal,
Hold off
if,
with the finger, Nate.
if
Man,
they
come on.
give me
I'll
the
be good. I
signal,
promise, bro.
you know.
Look.
See, listen,
I put the candle of Zen up.
I was about to
I'll
say
be
the candle
good. I
been
got the
burning. All
candle
right,
of
we
Zen
gonna
in the
say that.
background, bro. Look, it's the candle of Zen.
See, y'all,
Oh,
this is why y'all gotta watch the show tomorrow's show so y'all can get the full story about the candle back there. there is a story. There is a backstory
Look,
about
it's
the
a whole
candle.
pagoda back there, baby. Look.
And I was about to say something about the candle, but I'll wait till tomorrow's show.
Hey, yo, bro, just depends on which one. It might be different by the time you get here tomorrow.
So Nate, has anybody has first place in any division changed? Has anything going with the standings this week since the last time
Um,
we spoke?
nothing really major has changed. That's still staying the same. And I'm gonna get into that real quick, but I don't want to show I don't want to disrespect for Colton Wong. Just real quick, he had a
My bad.
career 973 hits, 86 home runs. He had a career batting average of 256. He had 405 RBIs, 120 stolen bases in his career. Also, Gene Segura retired as well, announced his retirement after 13-year career in the league. He played with the mainly with the Philadelphia Phillies. He had a career of 1,545 hits, 110 RBIs, career batting average of 281 with 513 RBIs, 211 stolen bases
Hey,
through his 12-year career. Excuse me.
Now, any of them going to the Hall of Fame, or they just retired? They done.
I mean, those to be honest, those aren't first ballot Hall of Famer numbers. That'll all be by the voting staff. I mean, they got to play in the league at the end of the day, so you got to live out your dream. But as far as Hall of
Yeah.
Fame, I don't see that as Hall of Fame. You still got a lot of players that haven't made the
Nate.
Hall of Fame yet.
Hey, Nate.
Hmm?
Didn't Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals retire this week too?
No, that was on last week. I mentioned that last week, but yeah,
Oh,
he did
okay. I
retire.
thought he was on this week. Okay. All
See, if
right.
you
Yeah,
Yeah.
watch,
See.
so if you watched last week's show,
Hold
you'd have
on.
known
Hold on.
that
Hold on. Hold on.
that Nate
The
does it.
fact
This
that I
this is
knew
what
that
Nate
he
do.
did that should be
This,
that should be a spectacle right there in itself.
no, not really, not really. The
Oh,
fact that you
my
didn't
bad.
watch last week, no, the fact that you didn't watch last week's show
I was
is
working.
disappointing.
I had to go back in. Remember, I had to go
You know,
back to
it takes
DC.
nothing. It's
I
nothing
had
to
to
point.
drive. It was traffic.
It was traffic. It was
It was
traffic. Yo,
traffic. I had to get
Nate,
home. You ain't never drove I-95 before, have you?
I've never drove out. No, never,
Not on
never,
that electric bike you got. I know. That's all.
never.
It's all good.
Again, again. We're not gonna get into the
I'm here for
pettiness
jokes.
of the
It's
verse.
all good. Let's
We're not
go,
gonna
bro.
get on into
Let's
the
move it.
pettiness.
Keep moving along. You
Yeah, we're not
started
gonna
this.
get
I
into the
told you
pettiness
how
that we
fast this
do.
can get.
Again, y'all, this is why you gotta tune into tomorrow's show, because what Unk is doing right now is setting himself up for failure tomorrow. He keeps saying, you notice I'm not giving a response. I'm not replying, y'all. I'm just letting Unk do what he do, because this is the MLB rundown with Nate the Great. And on this show, we are professional. Tomorrow we are uncouth. Okay? And I have to read the disclaimer about 3 times. You notice on this show, I don't even give a disclaimer. But tomorrow, I say a disclaimer in the beginning, the middle, and at the end. That's because we are some uncouth gentlemen that are just trying to get it together, but we're going to work it out. So, Nate, what do you have next up? Because, you are the most professional one out of all of us. And Nate is, he does what he does because he's We part of him because he's the OG of the crew.
All right, and last, any talking about baseball, we're just gonna give a rundown for the next week. There are some matchups that I think if you're not a big baseball fan or you're just still starting to watch baseball, you may want to check out this weekend. This weekend for Memorial Day weekend, we got the Mets and the Dodgers, which has always been great, and I think that's going to be a great series this weekend. You got Baltimore against Boston, Cleveland against Detroit, San Diego and Atlanta is a real competitive one. Two really good young teams that I think you should definitely check out during this series. You got Arizona against St. Louis, and you got Seattle versus Houston. And rounding out the rest of the week, which will be starting off around after Memorial Day, Monday, Tuesday time. You got LA versus Cleveland. You'll have the Giants against the Detroit Tigers, Atlanta and Philly division rivals, always going at it, always having competitive battles. You got the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, the Kansas City Royals and the Cincinnati Reds, two other young teams as well. You also have in that series, you got the Yankees will be playing the Angels on the road in California for a series against the Angels. And those are some of the games that you can look forward to this week. That'll take you up into next week's show, which on the Thursday. Now what we got a couple of videos during the week at the end of the show. Well, right now we're gonna wrap for this show. We're gonna show a couple of videos, outstanding plays and moments that happened in the game. So while Jay gets to load those videos up, everybody who's watching this show, tell your friends or wherever. If you enjoy the show, hope you do enjoy it. Give feedback, things that you might want to see on the show, improvements you might want to see on the show, more things you want to show. There are some things that I want to let people know about. Going forward in some of these shows, I will be sharing sometimes videos, hidden tips, drills, either from myself or also from YouTube, or other YouTube pages and things that I've seen the sites on, because you might have kids of your own that's playing right now, or you may be playing yourself and you want some hidden tips and drills. I got some good videos that I think will be good that you can watch. We'll have the links to those websites, to those pages in links that Jay are dropping in on the links that you can be able to watch. Or I'll talk over the video a little bit and give some insight on what that person's trying to teach, and you can watch the entire video. So these are some things that and if you got any ideas, anything else, just put it in the chat and we'll look into it and try to help the show. This is only the second episode of this show. So first, we're going to start with some videos. Jay, go ahead and roll the film.
1, 2.
First of all, this is a bad call.
Oh, hold your breath. Oh,
wow.
1, 2. Oh, hold your breath.
And you see that location, it is way outside of the zone.
Yo, it's bad when the catcher actually looks like ooh,
exactly,
and he still got it. You see the he was like ooh,
he was like, oh, I really did that.
He's like, oh,
so Nate, what would you do in moments like that?
Get up and throw that ball right down there to third base and let him know that motherfucker struck out like he did. Cause you gotta play it up. Yo, bro, hey, you can't up the damn ref, bro. You cannot up the umpire. If you do anything, I'm telling you, bro, they would have slung his butt right out of that game. I've been an umpire. I'm telling you, I'm right too, don't you, Nate?
It depends on the situation though. Like if it's a game that's crucial and you call that, yeah, you're gonna have to throw me out because I'm gonna argue and let you know how I feel about it.
You're the pitch, yeah. Oh, you're the batter. You definitely should be or the manager, the coach, because you should be coming out of that dugout flying.
I just want to give a shout out to our production manager Leo. Shout out to Leo. He did show up tonight. You know what I'm saying? He's doing what he does and stuff. But he's supposed to be doing the behind the scenes work and stuff like that. And I'm struggling right now. And Leo, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much, Leo. I'm trolling you.
Here's an unassisted in the college game, an unassisted double play.
Did she get that out? Whoa, she got that, huh?
Wow.
She got that bag. She got the bag. She got the bag, dog. She got the bag before her girl got back.
Come on now.
Yo, that was a nice stab, yo. That was a nice stab. Look at that.
Listen,
get out of here.
Wow.
And I'm going to say also, women's softball, they have some pro leagues, semi-pro leagues. Now they have some that come on ESPN, and they have some that may be in your local city town for these college games too. Check those games out. Those games are really good. Like they're really exciting games. Like I'm not just saying that because I am a baseball fan.
I'm gonna hype one right now. University of Texas, number 21, Caden Henry. Yo, that girl to go.
Play.
Yes,
I seen something that was just similar to that we just saw right now. This young lady was up to bat, right? And she went to bunt. Out of nowhere, like the third baseman read it, she read everything. When I say she ran, dove, I mean the bunt may have been about a half a foot away from home plate. I mean,
she was on that Wonder Woman thing, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
She was on that Wonder Woman dive.
She jumped, she dove, but then when she caught it, you already know that the play that was on first took off the second. Oh no. Homegirl jumped, dove, caught it, and then still gunned it down to first base to get the play out. I said, yeah, her stomach hurt, but it was well deserved. Oh,
They in the College World Series, baby. That's the best. That's the best time. You be seeing
word.
some good plays then. Like I saw that play. I think I did see that in the chat, and I was just amazed because that ball came off. I
I
didn't
ain't
think she
gonna
was going.
front.
I didn't think she was going to reach it. I didn't think she. And then for her to be tippy toeing her ass back there trying to grab the bag, that was great, yo. That was
So,
that was a great play.
Nate, what's going on in this play right here? Because this one's amazing.
Oh, that's just a good catch.
Nah, that's a great catch. That's more than a good catch,
Oh, slide to the next video. They show it in full motion. But yeah, yes, that's a
Oh, he must
great
have
catch.
had.
Great.
He must have got some his hops on that one. He caught up to it. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
snatch. That's a good snatch. That's a good snatch.
Yeah, because whoever hit that, he got all of it.
Not enough, boy, because old boy got right up in there and took that thing. He got right there and caught that. That was a good catch.
Yeah, life of an outfielder, man. And outfielders practice. Outfielders get a bunch of those. Maybe it could be 10 to 20 of those hit on a daily basis when they have practice, running out, catching balls that are going to be look like they have no chance to get into them. Helping them work on being able to get to those pitches, reading those pitches off. As an outfielder, you only have a split second to decide whether you're going to run back or you're going to run up. So it's all about reading the baseball and when it's hit off that bat by that player.
You gotta
Some
also
some
hope. You
some
gotta
players are
hope that
fast
you can
enough to
read the. Yeah, you gotta hope you can read the stadium too,
yes.
because you obviously you realize that they'll probably like step up off the wall, or if they can, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you can at the Green Monster, but you can over at Tibbetts Field somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You can hit
You
the
know what?
wall, step up and jump up and get it.
This next video is a perfect example of it about reading the play.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
nice jab. Got him. You got to go. He said, look.
And there's
Now
one more
leave this.
left after that.
It was this one right here that was amazing. My man was snatching everything.
Yeah, web gems.
Yeah. See, in the outfield, you make the best of it in the outfield when you finally are out there because listen, sometimes outfield life can get real lonely out there because nothing's really you don't get a lot of action sometimes. Sometimes it might be a little dribbler that go through the infield. You're just throwing it back into the cutoff man. And it could be a boring day out there in the outfield sometimes. Now, people who don't care, don't want that kind of action, they're fine with that. Just sitting out there and twiddling their fingers all day, chewing on bubble gum or looking in the stands and arguing with the fans or whatever. That's no fun though. I want to be in the midst of it, being able to throw somebody out at home, and I can't tell you how you have to experience to see how good of a
Man, you
feeling it
better
is
go
when
in.
you
You
throw.
better go to a softball league. You know these balls, these cats is hitting. And look, it's either there or it's out. You know that, Nate. Look, and if it's not there, it's because the dude on the mound is throwing 94 heaters, and they can't catch up to that damn slider that looks like it's about to hit him in the head, and it dips down to that damn far corner on that plate.
Well, there was a play. There was a moment yesterday during the San Francisco Giants Kansas City Royals game. Well, I blame the third base coach first of all because Salvador Perez is way too far into his career to be trying to send him home on a single in the outfield. He got thrown out at home. He was out by a mile. And as an outfielder, you take that with pride. Like I know you ain't trying to run on me. you know.
For sure, for sure. Especially if it's a short field too, and he caught up
Mhm.
on him, and you gonna try to spin on third, and I'm
Yeah,
already coming up. Yeah, brother.
yeah.
Let's see what you got. He put him on the line.
He threw him out. He threw him out at home with
Oh
at
yeah,
least by
he
at least
gunned
three
him.
or four steps.
Gunned him.
Gunned his ass.
Lined him up. But yo, speaking of being lined up and upsets and people being mad, this next clip, man, Nate, this was a good one that you sent to the chat, yo, for us to post, yo.
It was beautiful.
Yep. Major upset. Liberty University knocks number one overall seed Texas A&M out of the Women's College World Series. That's crazy, yo. I'm gonna scroll so we can go to
They
the.
Liberty.
was go- they was
Before you
going
play the
nuts in that
video,
field. They was going nuts over there.
yeah, go ahead and show the highlights, Jay, and then I'll talk about it afterwards.
Wow, look like she's crying.
Oh, they was upset, bro.
Ooh, she got all of that.
And I give respect to those pitches with the wind up when they pitch.
Mm, mm.
Yo, and you got to respect these women that are hitting these balls. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. If you think they're
Yo,
pitching in something, these
she
chicks
crushed that.
are cranking a bat out
Hold
there.
up. I
They're
need
hitting balls hard,
I need to
bro.
watch that one more time because she crushed it.
Yo, bro, they be getting a
Yo,
good turn. Look,
yo,
wow. She putting all
yo,
that in that out there, yo.
yo. She was mad at her brother for that one. Her brother, and her boyfriend pissed her
Everybody in the
off.
family cussed her out about
Somebody
that,
made
man.
her mad. That was pure rage. Like, yo,
She said, "Ooh, that's it! Pow!
I'm about tired of all of y'all.
Yeah, cacao!"
And
Okay.
they and there was the strikeout that ended it. Now, what made this even more historic as a Cinderella was Texas A&M was the number one team in the country, and they didn't reach the super regional finals. They lost to an unranked Liberty University team, which made Texas A&M now the first national seed to not reach the super regionals.
Ever.
It's a great Cinderella story. And we'll hope that hopefully Liberty got more Cinderella left in them as they continue on
Listen,
into the tournament.
yeah, I hope they ride that momentum and that energy that they got right now from being the number one team. And you take that and now you gotta be like, yo, we the number one team. Come see me.
Yeah, because
Um,
they got a best of three coming up next on Friday in Oregon against the University of Oregon,
hey, ladies,
who's ranked number 16.
do your thing, ladies. I'm rooting for you. Right here, right now, you hear it. I want y'all to go out there and keep hitting them home runs and bring that title home, yo. Bring the pennant home.
I ain't UT.
Yo, I don't no gang signs, bro. No gang.
UT, bro.
I don't even know Utah.
UT.
University of Texas.
Utah.
I'm talking about.
I know what he's talking about. You know me, Nate. I just be trolling, talking my talk. But is there anything else you want to mention, talk about, or let us know? What you paying attention to about baseball?
No, just hope that everybody's enjoyed today's show. Like I said, feedback is always welcome. Nobody's ever perfect, and this is something that if you people know that I actually wasn't even doing at first. Like I think my whole team in the man cave, because starting off with them, I didn't even want to do it at first. And they was asking me, one of the members of the man cave, when Art asked me while I was on a flight going to Maryland visit for a family reunion, and I thought about it, and I tried to say, you know what, let me give it a try. And now that I'm starting to do it now I'm in love with it. I tell, like I always tell, look at this. I'm old school. I got pages written every day, pages of notes, and I write them all down. Anytime something happens, I'm writing notes every single day because I want to give you the best. I want to try to give you the best show possible. I know I talk a lot. Sometimes I get carried away, and it seems like I'm just yapping and yapping and yapping. But I love talking about baseball so much, and sometimes it's hard because I don't have nobody to talk to about it. Because everybody I know really watches basketball and
Yeah,
football, which I'm not mad about. I watch basketball and football too, but it's baseball season. Until
Nate.
November, I'm all
People
in.
gotta throw you. Nate, one of our members threw you under the bus real fast.
That's all right. I'll change the oil while I'm under there.
Yeah, yeah, they threw you. Yo, this old Negro writing on paper and not on the phone. Yeah. But nah, Nate, you know what it is though? It's not that we'll never say that you be yapping. Is you're passionate about your sport. This is what you do. And this is one of the main reasons why, when we do our main show, and we gave you a segment to talk about what you wanted to talk about, we realized like, yo, hey, Nate needs his own show. Nate needs his own hour and a half to run down baseball and stuff like that. Because one is good content. Two, what he's saying, he's passionate about what he loves and whatnot. What you got to say,
You know what I got to say? Yo, man, fuck if we have a spinoffs. Why can't we have Unk's World? La 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 la. Come on, man.
Well, see, that's
that's we could talk about that behind the scenes on another time on another
I
note.
gotta
You know what I'm
wait.
saying?
Why can't I? We could just add that as a feature right now. Nate's Corner with Unk.
No. We're not going. No, this is Nate the Great.
how about
But
we
I'm
say
saying
this?
it's Nate's Corner.
See the Bobby Brown. Yo, they called you the Bobby Brown of the group. Son, you bailed on us, Nate. Wow. Every little step I take, I will be here. Every
That's
little
right.
step I take.
Will be too.
Nate's the only one who
But
can
nah,
take his hair and make it go up to the side like that
only one that
anyway.
can nah, what you mean the only one? I could do it too. I could do it too.
Hold on.
I could do it too.
You gonna
Don't do that.
You gonna pull
Don't
a
do
braid?
that.
What you gonna do?
Don't do that. I'm talking about he the only one.
Hey, I could take a good joke. Writing it on paper though, that it comes out. Everything comes out better when I write it on paper. The ideas flow better. For me.
Yo,
But
you see the length of my hair, Don't ever say Nate's the only one that could get a Gumby.
I'm not gonna lie to you right now, and Nate, I hope you can vouch for me. Did you see him pull anything? You couldn't see nothing either, could you, Nate? You was holding play. You wasn't holding. Hey, Jay, you
as
pulled one of
much
them
as I like
whiskers
roast,
off
as
the
much as
back
I
of
like,
your head again like that, Jay. Coming over there, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna
About
hit
to
you with a
polish.
stick.
About to polish his head to stun on y'all with hair.
Don't be tripping, baby. I know the body look
Yo, gonna take a rag.
good.
Nate, you know how they shine your shoe and they take a rag and they go like a
They will
bowling
try
ball.
anything when they that just mean it look good, y'all. I realize what he's talking about.
Nah,
Y'all leave me
well,
alone with my little zipper in the middle. You
this
see what
is
I'm saying? I got a little zipper in the middle, so it's all
this is
good.
I'll
some of
say,
the antics. This is some of the antics that go on, on the show on
What I'm
Friday
saying,
with
bro, we need a
the rest of the
spinoff.
crew. But
well, ladies and
nah,
gentlemen,
Nate, yeah.
Hey, I got the name of the show, Jay. Here it is. Unk's Recliner.
well, Jay, before you say, I'm gonna say it's
Yo,
for those who are watching the show,
wait,
and
Nate, time out.
what Uncle was
Wait,
saying,
wait,
just stay tuned.
Nate,
Stay
Nate,
tuned.
Nate, before you
Yeah,
go
stay
any further,
tuned. Stay tuned.
yo, we are
What was that?
never ever, you will never ever, I mean, never ever in your life get a spinoff on the Virtual Man Cave platform.
Why?
If
Yo,
you
hey,
ever hold
yo.
up, listen, you gotta hear me
Besides
out.
donations.
Wait, you gotta hear me out. If you ever lay down on your couch lay down on a recliner and stick your tongue out like that ever again, you won't get it, bro.
Come on, man.
You
It's
won't get it.
all about promotion.
No, we not promoting that. We not promoting that. Not on this. Not in the
Yeah,
Virtual Man Cave.
yeah.
But nah,
Uncle, you trying to promote Quiet Storm Night or something?
exactly. I'm talking about.
You are tuned in. You are tuned in
Hold
on
on, man.
Free
Hold
Rigor
on, man. We ain't
tonight,
going there. All
Tuesday night.
right, Nate. I don't
Nah,
like
but
you start talking
as
like
what?
that, Nate. No, man. No, I got
No, no,
Nate. I
no.
gotta put I gotta
Nah,
put
it's
bass in
serious.
my voice now for you, man. For all
Yo,
that.
in all seriousness, though, um, definitely stay tuned and look forward because we do have the Virtual Man Cave podcast with the whole crew right now. We got the Virtual Man Cave MLB rundown with Nate the Great, but there will be other segments, other shows that come on down the line and stuff like that. We just knew collectively Nate was the most well prepared and ready to go on the fly to be the first one to set it off. And honestly, with his segment, it was very professionally sound and stuff like that. So we knew he kept his notes and everything because he does write on pen and pad, so he doesn't lose his notes and whatnot. He had, Nate want to be like, yo, listen, I don't care if my phone die, I'm still ready to do the show because I wrote it down on pen and pad. I don't rely on technology. You know what I mean? Plus, he spent 5 years with the Amish, so he couldn't use technology. So that's why he writes stuff down and whatnot. But Nate, we appreciate.
Don't worry about that, Unc. You know, when you can't grow it, you know, all you can do is hate. You know.
Wow.
Ah.
Wow. That's what we doing.
I mean, if you take the braids out, cut a little bit of that down, and paste it here, you might have a little something. You know.
Ain't making a fool man too, nigga. Ain't getting
I
much
know.
out of that.
And he
Oh.
got a full can of black eyed peas on top of his head. I don't know what he talking about.
That's all right.
Looking like a Brillo pad.
That's jacked up.
Looking like a
They did
looking
call
like a,
you Bobby Brown. If you'd have said every little, that's man, that'd have been jacked up.
oh man, that wasn't me. But now we appreciate everybody that tuned in to the show and everything. Once again, we will be back next week with Nate the Great with the Virtual Man Cave MLB Rundown. We want to thank Unc for tuning in, tapping in, and showing love to the crew. We always take guest appearances. Shout out to Leo, you know what I'm saying, who actually showed up tonight and everything like that, even though I still had to do all the videos and whatnot and pull up and
But you
make
did a
sure the
great
videos
job
was up
tonight,
and
bro. Good
whatnot.
job.
Thank you.
Good
I
job.
appreciate that because
Good job.
you know that's
Good
not what I
job.
do. And
Right,
I'm gonna troll Leo. I'm just gonna let y'all know right now, y'all. Leo's
Man,
my guy.
yeah, you gotta get
That's my
Leo
guy.
fingers, baby. That's the man
You know,
back there. He
but
the
I'm
man.
gonna troll Leo
Oh.
because you know him and I just have a fake 2-second beef. So I'm just gonna troll him for the next couple of weeks and stuff like that.
That's
So
crazy.
just understand it. It ain't nothing personal. It's all
Batman
love.
get you. You know you're gonna come by.
Yeah, I know it's content over everything,
Dun,
yo.
dun, dun, dun. You gonna hear some music in the background.
You know, thank you. We appreciate it. Oh, shout out to Dre the creator, yo, for tapping in, tuning into the show, leaving comments and whatnot. We appreciate you. A few more things before we get off air, yo. If you want to be a guest, you know what I'm saying, a guest host, or you know what I'm saying, just have an interview or something, or just want to politic and post up with us, there goes the email, themint8@gmail.com. Vmint, that is VMENT, the number 8@gmail.com. Send us an email. We'll answer it. We'll see what's up. Let us know what you got in mind, how we can help you, how you want to help the show. And then we go from there, yo. Love is love, y'all. We see y'all next week. Oh, matter of fact, no, we're gonna see y'all tomorrow. We're gonna see y'all tomorrow because if you tuned in tonight, you're gonna tune in tomorrow and enjoy the show with the whole crew, and you're gonna see all our theatrics and whatnot. Again, thank you, Nate. Appreciate you, Unc. Catch y'all on the flip side, Joe. Peace.
Peace.